Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the 4C Marketplace podcast. On today's podcast, we have Francisco Foglia, who is the Vice President for Infrared Solutions Argentina. Francisco and the Infrared Solutions team is a big friend of 4C, and we're really excited to have him here today to discuss about his company as well as talk about what the environmental market looks like in Argentina. So without further ado, Francisco, you want to take this chance to tell us about yourself and your company?
Hi, Uzi. It's again a great pleasure to talk to you and to share information about our company and our country and how things are moving on down here. As you know, Infrared Solutions is a young OGI company. We have only 4 years, and we bring OGI, which is Optical Gas Imaging services, in South America, and especially in Argentina, where we are based. As you know, Argentina is also a big leader in oil and gas industry in the region, and Vaca Muerta, which is a tight oil and shale gas formation, is one of the largest in the world. So we are very happy to be here, and at this time of our country, which is a time for growth, and we are happy to be the first optical gas imaging company in South America. So it's very good for us.
That's a very good position to be in. So
Yes.
along with that, 4 years old, how did you guys start? How did you guys begin in an industry where there is no industry?
Well, that's a very good question of yours. It's been a tough road till now. Alejandro Foglia, who is president and founder of the company, together we started this company 4 years ago. So as you can imagine, it's been a long road full of challenges and new things and learning to get into a market which does not exist, and to understand the needs of a market and the ways to almost coach our clients into OGI, or to understanding that there is an existence of leaks and that we need to manage them and control them.
Right. So did you guys have a background in oil and gas before coming into this industry?
Well, yes, Alejandro has 30 years of experience, and myself, I'm making my first steps with OGI. So it's a good challenge.
One of the things too is you guys are essentially a market leader. No one else is really doing what you're doing. You kind of described how you're the first mover in your country and really in South America. So that really gives us a picture of how you guys operate. You're big risk takers. I can already see that right away. But what do you think drives you guys, and what are your values that really make up your company? What makes you guys tick?
The first thing that makes us tick is that we love what we do, and as I told you before, we know that we are in front of a big challenge, and we are ready to take it, and we are always getting information and sharing information and trying to generate a bond with our clients, to create awareness and to coach them, as I told you earlier, to create this awareness and to understand that it's a process that needs to be done in order to control leaks. First, it's weird for me to say this, but it's something that we want to make clear, is that leaks exist. It's very strange to say this because you guys have been doing this and finding leaks since the 70s, but Here we do not have any regulations on gas leaks. So saying that leaks exist and that they need to be controlled is a big challenge for us, because our clients, they don't have the need to have an OGI service. But from our point of view, we can help them to understand what we do and why we do it, and that we are committed to find a market here. It's difficult, but we're up to the challenge.
Right. You mentioned that there's education involved in this whole process of selling. If you had to wrap up your message to the people that you're trying to sell your services and, educate, what would it be? What is your compelling message? What would you tell them why you need to do this, or why us?
So, of course, this message would be more aimed at South America market, right? Because that's where our clients are. So what I would like to say is that we can help them to have a healthy facility, and that's regarding leaks, right? So in order to have a healthy facility, what I mean with this is that you can never eradicate leaks completely. You cannot erase leaks from a facility because of the process and the vibration and the temperatures, open and closing a valve. I mean, it's a whole world behind a leak. but you can never eradicate them completely. What you can do is you can control them, and you can find a stability between the new leaks and the known leaks that are being repaired.
Right.
So that's what puts your company in control of leaks.
Right.
And that work, we can do that together with the client. And that's the way we do it here, because as you know, we do not have a regulation that tells us a frequency to find leaks.
Yeah.
But our intention is to find a stability. What we can provide is a tool to make companies more healthy or facilities healthier.
Right. So when you boil it down to it, there's kind of the health aspect that you mentioned, as well as just a company who is forward looking shouldn't be reactive to these problems. They should be proactive. They should search them out because they actually exist. And, heaven forbid, something bad happens because a leak was not detected. If I'm getting that right, that's what I hear your message is.
Yeah, that's my message is that controlling leaks is to control environmental health, safety, and of course, money loss issues.
Right.
So we can help them on that process.
Absolutely. So let's talk more, because you've mentioned it, that there's no regulation dictating you guys and to these companies how often you need to do it. That's super interesting, because from the US standpoint, we're all about regulation. This industry really exists, and all these slew of products exist because of regulation. Talk me through that process of, how you guys really have gotten over that hump.
Well, it's actually very, very interesting because, as you say, we do not have a regulation. So when we meet a client, they actually do not have a need to do to have a survey.
Right.
But we found many proactive companies and people that understand that it's just that we do not have a regulation, but that doesn't mean that you can vent your gases to the atmosphere. So actually recently companies like BP, Exxon, Shell, Total, Wintershall, they have committed to reduce methane emissions worldwide.
Right.
So this shows good perspectives towards, as I was telling you earlier, more healthy facilities.
Right.
So even though companies they do a survey because they choose to, there's still standards or companies that have higher standards, which normally tend to understand this easier, that you need to control your leaks in order to control this issues that we're talking about: health, safety, money loss, and of course environmental.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, just being able to control the leaks, define process, and in some instances, you mentioned like 3 big names right there. They are also in the U.S., so they probably understand what some of these best management practices are to be proactive to find leaks, and they may not have that ability to do it in certain areas, which is where you guys would probably fill in the gaps, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So let's talk about like just the Argentinian landscape and South American landscape. Where do you think they're going to go from a regulatory standpoint? Do you really see some big moves happening, or is it a process that it's going to take to get to the point of them buying in and putting in regulation? Are they going to do regulation, or are they going to allow just companies to police themselves, if you will?
Now, if I had to tell you, like now today, what we know is that we're doing a big effort in order to generate awareness, to put this subject, the OGI subject, on the table, and to we're trying to make ourselves heard. We still haven't heard of any regulations coming out for gas leaks, but we hope that in the next years someone is proactive and brings regulation in South America. So that would be very important for the region, because a lot of gas and a lot of product is being lost in the air, and that's
right.
As we know, it doesn't only harm the environment, but it's a lot of money lost. Actually, in Argentina, we have to import gas, having one of the biggest reserves. So it's kind of crazy, but that's the way it is.
That's funny. That's really funny. I didn't realize that. You guys are more of a net importer than you are exporter, sitting on the Vaca Muerta.
Yeah, exactly.
So throughout your time, throughout this whole process, I guess 4 years for you, obviously roughly 34 years for your president, what has been the biggest insight that you've gained throughout this journey of yours trying to educate the industry and trying to educate South America?
That sounds very big, but we're trying. So I would say that our biggest insight is patience. We have to be patient, and we have to understand that everything has a rhythm, it has a time, and that we are here to go with it. And to, as I was telling you earlier, creating this awareness and trying to make us ourselves heard needs to be very, very slow, and we need to make everyone understand that there's a need. And of course, it's not only our work. I mean, I imagine that once a company listens and they understand, they also apply. So it's a slow process, but we're willing to make it with a lot of patience. So I would say our insight is patience.
That's good. That's really good. So we talked about the big movers and the big influences of the market, what your greatest insight is. What's next for you guys, having mentioned all of that? What are your guys' focus going to be for the next 5 to 10 years in regards to this whole effort?
So what's next? I would say hopefully, as a dream, it's to have a regulation, of course, for the first regulations to appear on gas leaks in South America. That will be very good for us and for the industry, and we're very patient about that. We will be patient. So in the next years, we will continue with our work on creating awareness, on helping companies to understand that regulations are needed, and of course providing the best service that we can in order to achieve our goals, which are of course to have clients, but also the clients that we have to commit to reduce their emissions. So another thing that we have next, which is a fact actually, we are launching first prototype of a version of a management software, a leak management software. We're doing this because we find that we didn't have the proper tool in order to present our reports, or to bring information, or to bring statistics to our clients. So every information that we gather from a survey, we're bringing it down to our own software, and we're starting to manage our leaks and our information in a different way. So hopefully we have this for the next years, and we can improve that in order to bring a good service globally.
Well, that's fantastic. Yeah, and we look forward to hearing more about your journey and following your story as you guys continue on in that process. So, if our listeners want to find you and your company, where can they do that at?
You can do that by email in info@irsgas, or you can find our webpage. It's www.irsgas.com.
Perfect. Well, Francisco, I really appreciate your time. Always enjoyable to hear from you and kind of get more of an international perspective on the industry that we work in. So thank you.
Thank you, Uzi, for your time.